The world of AI is changing every day.
Yeah, AI is the future, but I would like to change that AI is the present.
Is it a myth that you need to learn how to code to get into AI?
Not really.
What is the most basic project someone can make to impress recruiters?
I think it takes less than few hours to do that.
Why is it the best time for non-AI professionals to get into AI?
The roles that we had in the past, right? 5 years down the line, those roles will come back. And the domain does not matter. It could be medicine, it could be retail, it could be real estate or fashion.
If you're not in it, you're at the moment being left behind.
Now is the time to be in that space.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Perspective Lab. I'm honestly tired of hearing how tough AI is to get into, and I thought let's call an expert. Thank you so much for doing this, Dr. Akash Parvatikar. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much, Tanmay, and I'm looking forward to having some fun with the conversations about AI, how I do AI and how people can do AI.
Before we get into this, who are you?
So, I'm Akash. I'm the head of AI for a biotech company. And I have been in the field of AI for a little over a decade now. And before that, I did my PhD from Carnegie Mellon and UPMC, developing explainable AI for breast cancer. So to answer our question, who am I? I'm AI developer, AI scientist, AI evangelist, AI innovator. That's all I've been doing for over the past 10 years.
Now that's a very good way to put it. Yeah. I was reading that your credentials are impressive. You did your bachelor's in electronics and electrical. Yeah. Then you did your master's in information sciences. And then you pivoted to computational biology.
Yeah.
That is for someone who's watching, you also got into AI.
Yeah.
You just didn't start from AI. Yeah. So why is it the best time for non-AI professionals to get into AI?
Well, I think talking about the pathway here from electrical to information science to comp bio, and I think at each point in my career, I have learned the principles of AI. Mm-hmm. Because many people think of AI as something that they see in sci-fi movies and them replacing humans and all that. But I would say it's much more simpler than that. So back in my bachelor days, I learned a lot of signal processing, understanding signals and all that. And then information science, where I got exposed to more programming languages. And in comp bio, I really understood the data. Mm-hmm. So I think when you combine all of that, that builds you a strong foundation in understanding the core AI principles. So for me, it was a very smooth transition from understanding signals to learning how to code those signals to understanding the data. So I think for a very non-technical person who want to get into AI, I would say understand your domain first, understand your problem first, and AI is a solution. And as we talk more in today's session, we will dive into how you can actually do that.
Exactly. And why do you think it's the best time for someone who's not an AI professional to get into it?
Oh, well, people who are telling AI is the future, but I would like to change that AI is the present. Wow. So that is one simple answer as to why people have to get into this field, because this is very popular that people who don't use AI will definitely be replaced by the people who do, right? Mm-hmm. So the thing is, if you are not using AI and if you are doing 50% of your work, but if with using AI you can do much more, so definitely they will be more attractive for companies to hire. So now I wouldn't say now is the best time. I would say now is right time and the time to get into AI. Do not fall behind this AI race. Try to adapt yourself in whatever domain you are. There are what I believe is that now is the best time to be, right, with the amount of knowledge which is out there, which is so easily accessible, which was not the case 20 years back. Even then, there was a paradigm shift in technology that happened before going digital, right? But now the difference is that we have quick access to high quality content to adapt and to learn. So I would say uh, you should use the tool according to your use case, but now is the time to be in that space.
I loved what you said initially. AI is the present.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like ignoring the fact they're like, oh, we'll get into it. There's time. There's time. If you're not in it, you're at the moment being left behind.
Exactly.
So there's also one of these myths, or is it a myth? Is my question, that you need to learn how to code to get into AI.
Not really. So you don't have to learn how to code, especially. So there is a difference, right? Like because if you are looking for an AI scientist job or like a AI researcher, that's when you are building AI solutions for your use case. But if you just want to get into applied AI, you don't have to learn how to code. Uh, ChatGPT is a fantastic example of that because the backend of it is all your large language models. But as a user, I don't have to know how to code these programming languages to use ChatGPT for improving my efficiency.
Right.
So not just that, you might do like a video editing or Snapchat filters and all that. So AI is getting into those products, you know it or not, it is getting into that. But for you to use those filters or those editing tools, you don't have to know how to code. But having said that, it completely depends on where are you in your career and what is it that you want to do.
No, I want to touch upon this thing you said, the difference between applied AI and an AI scientist. What is that?
Well, so I can talk about AI scientist part first. So you are building AI solutions for different problems, right? It could be a computer vision problem, it could be a natural language processing, or just analyzing like millions of reports. So if you are tasked to build AI for those use cases, you have to know the principles of AI. You should know like different types of AI. You should know more about the classification models and accuracies, and know the failure modes of AI. Not to the extent of getting a PhD out of it, but you should have some basic knowledge. If it's applied AI, it's all about like using the tool for your use case, and you say the one tool is not compatible, you just switch and use other tools. It's more like you try, you iterate, and if it fails, you just switch and then use the other tools. But having said that, even for an applied AI person, you don't need to know how to code, but I think you should understand the back end of how AI works. AI, what does it mean? What kind of data is it taking in the back end? And you should have some sense of understanding before you apply AI for your use case.
No, that's very true, because I think a lot of people have like this image of AI being something that everyone can get into is also not right.
Yeah.
You cannot expect, like, speaking personally, today I was working on a problem where I was using GitHub Copilot and I was coding.
Yeah.
I kept giving AI the prompt saying there is something wrong, you're not doing it right. And then I had to look at the code and I had to see the point where it was wrong. I didn't know the fix for it, but I knew this is the issue.
Yeah.
And as soon as I told AI that, hey, this is why it's happening, can you find a fix for this? Immediately, the next solution. Like, it took me 5 attempts to get to that point where I needed to see the solution. And then when I got to the point where I know the fault, it worked. So that is how it works. Like, a lot of people think that you cannot, like, it's the same thing. It's not one of those fields where you can't be a doctor without knowing anything about like the heart or the body. You can't just walk into an operating theater and be like, oh, I have AI.
Yeah.
You need to know a little bit about your domain.
Absolutely. And not just that, Tanmay, say everybody's favorite is ChatGPT, right?
Right.
But I think there are so many other LLMs like Perplexity, Claude AI, and all, Gemini, for example. So I think you should have some sense of understanding as to there are these LLMs which is like particularly tasked to do something specific, right? So I think at least have that knowledge, what was the model trained on? Are there specific LLMs where the backend data set is so specific for your use case, that will be much more suitable for you than ChatGPT. So I think having that sense of understanding is important than just relying on ChatGPT. If it gives, it gives. Otherwise, you just quickly switch without having that understanding that, okay, if you're working on I don't know, like a medical imaging, there are LLMs out there where the entire LLM is trained on medical images.
Right.
So that will be the best solution for you than, torturing Perplexity and ChatGPT like hundreds of times to give you the right answer, because it doesn't have that data that, you are looking for.
Absolutely. It's an expert.
Yeah.
You have a specific AI that's an expert for that field.
Exactly.
And you can't have a generalist for everything. But though a lot of people do advise right now being a generalist is going to pay off more. But that's a whole different discussion to get into. Coming back to what we started with, we're building an AI roadmap. All right. What is the most basic project someone can make to impress recruiters who, like, for anyone who wants to be showing their AI skills?
Sure. I think that's a very important question that you have asked, although you have put it in a very simple way. It's quite important. So what I say this is pick your domain first. And the domain does not matter. It could be medicine, it could be retail, it could be real estate or fashion or whatever it is. Pick the domain and pick a good data set. And understand the data set. Do not jump into building AI algorithms, running GitHub open source code and all that. Get a fair understanding of what the data is, what format the data is in, and that's very important, which people usually miss out on. And actually recruiters, when they look at an AI project, they just don't gauge you based on the performance of the AI. They gauge you based on your understanding of the AI and the data that you have run the AI for. So for example, in my case, if it is breast pathology, right? So getting a 90% accuracy, sure, it might be impressive, but if I cannot tell you when did the AI fail in those 10% of the cases,
right?
Number is a number, so that means I did not spend any time in understanding the images, looking at false positives, false negatives and all that.
Right.
So that's very important. So say you have already done that, you have understood the data, and you have run the classic AI algorithms, deep learning, machine learning models and all that. I think it's important to go to the next step. And how do you productize that? Can you create a Docker container and put it on a website, make it interactive, and could you take in the data in real time and give the performance? Recruiters are looking for that, because you and I both know that if you have a data set and you want to run an AI project, I think it takes less than few hours to do that. You have the GitHub Copilot, everything is there, you download the libraries and everything is done. So how do you stand out and make your AI project more impressive? And my thing is that I would say dream big. If this was 5-10 years back, just doing 2-3 projects was sufficient, but now I would say depth matters than the breadth of project. So if you pick one project, how deep can you go? What I mean by that is, okay, you run the AI framework, you have Dockerized it, you have launched it as a web API, and you have published papers in good journals, you got a patent out of it, and you have taken this idea to the hackathon, and showing more and more work that you have done as part of the project is what stands apart than you doing 5 projects, each with its own AI model, accuracies and all that. I think that's less impressive.
No, I get what you're saying. I remember the time when I was heavily into AI. There was this whole MNIST project and everyone's having that on their resume. And all the basic cat dog identification, AlexNet, all of these simple things are there. But what you said right now, the whole end-to-end part of it, where you're going with the application first in mind and then shipping an entire mini product for the whole thing, like you said, Dockerize it, make a web app. That part has all become easy with AI. You know the fundamentals of coding. You can do a lot of it now. You don't need to know the language. Even today when I code, there's a lot of coding that I do where the autocomplete part is good, but I need to know what it's autocompleting. So that's perfect. And I think about it in a different way also, that what if I had to like learn it step by step? Like what would be a step by step plan that you would give for someone to, like learn these tools?
So I think let me take like a simple project and maybe like lay out like step by step
That'd be the best way to go about it.
what needs to be done. Like first is know your data, like pre-process the data, like
Okay, I don't want to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
let's pick an example.
Yeah.
Let's pick an example of someone who wants to sell socks. All right. They have 10 different types of socks and they want to recommend to the user what that sock is based on 3 questions that they ask them.
Yeah.
We can get into the depths of it.
Yeah.
But this is the blanket statement we give.
Yeah.
So how do we go about it?
Absolutely. And I think so here, say we're talking about like a sock recommendation software. Right?
Perfect.
So now so there is a sample set which might have hundreds of varieties of socks, and within the varieties there might be different like flavors. Like it could be the color, design, the material, and all that, right? So now you have the data set in front of you with the types of socks and the parameters of those socks, right? The parameters could be, and you need to understand the parameters. The parameters here could be the color, design, it could be the texture, materials, and
So someone who's very new to the word parameter, it means whatever features or
Yes.
whatever the characteristics of that sock is.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. Characteristics of the socks, like features of the socks. Exactly. So next you have that, and now say there is a user who wants to input like the category of socks that they are looking for, but they will be recommending in like very simple language, right?
Right.
I want a socks which feels soft, with Christmas colors, and and low cost, for example. So these are the user features that that has been input to the model. Now what your AI model has to do is that based on the sample set, and again by sample set I mean you have a bucket and you have all the socks in there. Like you have all the varieties, all the samples, like you have all the socks in a bucket. So now here the objective of your AI is, once a user asks a question about the kind of socks that they like to purchase, you are trying to find like the most similar socks in this entire pool of bucket, and trying to give that the sock which best matches their needs.
Exactly. And that
That's
will
it.
get them to buy it, which is
Exactly.
our objective.
Exactly. So this is called objective function, which is like in machine learning and AI, and it's all about like here the objective is to have the highest match with what you need versus what we have, right? And now the way that it works is now once you have your input parameter or input features, it tries to find like similarity a bit between every feature that you have asked for versus the features of the socks, and it gives you like a similarity score. Your main goal here is to get the socks with the highest similarity. So this is so basically if you get that, it will pick the socks for you, and it will show you, and you can just buy it. So
Right.
so it's as simple as that. So for any project, again, if you have any questions, like let me know. But I think this is what a simple project would look like at a very high level.
Right.
So
And this would be more impressive because you've, like, now coming back to what we talked about being a generalist.
yeah,
I think 5 years back, if all you did was code the AI,
yeah,
that would have been impressive. But now what people want is your thought process for the whole project.
exactly.
If you bring that experience with the whole objective function, which, like you explained, is simply the objective of the application.
Yeah.
There are socks, there are users.
Yeah.
We want to make money.
Yes.
The user buys those socks.
Yes.
So with that mindset, that will impress a recruiter a lot more. And it's the perfect step-by-step way that you've told someone. Like, go customer first, the way Amazon describes it,
Yeah.
and then work your way back from it.
Exactly.
But in all of this, you mentioned a lot of technical terms.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we talked about being an AI scientist
Yeah.
and being an applied AI person. So how do you manage and balance the theory with the actual project or like the application? Like when you have to learn all of this, how do you manage it?
Yeah, well, I think again, if you have to design your own like recommender system, like if you have a business idea, and I think knowing the fundamentals in depth is not necessary, but you need to understand at least like what is it that we're trying to do from a very like a theoretical standpoint, like with the flow charts, diagrams, and all. But having said that, if you want to do enough market research based on the other recommender systems, and you're going and reading papers and articles and all that, I think again you can make use of the AI for building an AI.
Right.
What I mean by that is you can you have your LLMs at your disposal and try to like if you have any like technical questions such as objective function parameters and all that, and I think like very quickly you will converge on like a certain vocabulary that AI scientists usually use. So of course, initially it might be a learning curve, but as you're doing it more and more, you realize that the vocabulary is it's not big, like this is the words that we use technically, whether we are describing a recommender system or a classification system or decision making systems and all that. So I would say again, this is coming back to the point that you cannot escape from knowing the AI jargons that the AI scientists use. But having said that, for example, you don't have to understand the mathematics that goes behind when we're building AI systems. That's not required.
I've heard from a lot of AI scientists themselves. They're like, it's a black box. They don't know themselves. Sometimes I've heard of that. But
Okay.
obviously, like
Yeah.
they are also applied AI scientists at that point.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. So
And like this one project, will it be enough? This SOC project? Because what I think about it is two things.
yeah,
You, to begin with what you last said, that you have a bunch of AI resources like ChatGPT and all of these Notebook LM at your disposal.
Yeah.
I look at them as a middleman.
yeah,
Earlier, we used to do the Google search and we had to search our way through the websites and everything.
Yeah.
Now, the middleman is AI. It is searching through the internet and giving you the appropriate answer for your question in a simpler, more humanly readable format.
right.
Right? The other thing is, we want a recruiter to notice
Yeah.
our application.
Yeah.
We've built the SOC application. But in my head, we have applications like Cursor and all of these.
Yeah.
This looks like a 1 to 2 day project.
Yeah.
Would this be enough for someone who wants to get a job as someone working in applied AI?
No. And
So
if not,
what does a portfolio look like?
Absolutely. So I think so. Say this is a SOC project, right? And you have taken 2 days to finish the project, and even the recruiter knows that how much time you have spent in doing this project.
Right.
So I would say like think further. So you did the SOC project, and can you extend it to others? Like it could be scarves, gloves, like clothes, or shoes, like things like that. Expand the data set, and if you're focused only on the SOC, like have you actually like gone to Nike with this idea and helped in their like supply chain and all that? Like how much can you hustle with this idea, and how much can you like move forward? That's what the recruiter sees. How much efforts have you put in?
Right.
Like how crazy are you to like this is a simple recommendation system of socks, but you are having like partnerships with Nike, Adidas, Puma and all that, and you're actually piloting your project with them. This just shows that you can go to that extent to bring your idea from AI to product. So that is what a recruiter sees. Again, it's subjective.
Right.
So here we're talking about a SOC recommendation, and that's why I pulled in the companies who manufacture socks.
Right.
But say there is the International SOC Conference, wherein all the SOC companies come together and show off their product. Like have you made any efforts to go there and show off your software at this international SOC forum. So I think recruiters see that. That just shows that you are not just tied into creating like a high school or a college project, but you are actually thinking much ahead, and people are actually doing it.
Exactly. Like it's
Yeah, they
building
are.
a startup
Yeah,
at this point.
absolutely. So, like what I think is that you should not stop at doing the project just with the classification system or recommender and all that. Like, have you maybe applied for a grant that funds, I don't know, purchasing socks or something like that? So yeah.
No, I really love this discussion,
Yeah.
and my head is now currently in this pattern of how do I make a sock company? I'm also thinking about something like that because it looks like something we're ideating right now.
Right.
But I see potential. Ever since you mentioned that sock conference, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, we can do something.
Yeah.
So, my next thing is, how are AI roles evolving?
What I think is that the roles that we had in the past, right, or maybe now, I think like 5 years down the line, those roles will come back. But it will be understood that the AI skills will be pertinent, and it's understood that you will be using AI for that. For example, software engineer, right? That means you will be an AI ML engineer as part of the software engineer, or a data scientist. Like that means okay, you are using AI for that, or say a product designer or UI UX. So what I think is that we are in this transition of leveraging AI for every single like use cases. But as far as the roles are concerned, I would say the roles will be turned around, and those roles will still remain the same, but it will be understood that you will be using applied AI to all those roles that were in the past. It could be sales and marketing. It could be like again I mentioned the UI UX engineer, or it could be a social media manager, things like that. So I would say those roles will still be the same, but everybody will be using AI in a much more bigger scale.
No, that's what I think about it as well.
Yeah.
That it's this amazing productivity hack that if you're using it, you're really enjoying it.
Yeah.
You're like without. Okay, let's put it this way. A lot that you did today, if you had to do it, like AI is so deep in our lives that some people are not realizing it. But take, for example, for me, this podcast.
Yeah.
Other than the studio that we're shooting in, everything that I do, right from the point where I make this video,
Right.
put it on Instagram, put it on YouTube, if I had to do this 5 years back, I would need 3 more people with me and a lot more time. But now I'm able to do this with a full-time job. So it's this productivity hack that I'm really enjoying.
Yeah.
And it's an untapped space still. Like a lot of people are just hesitant because they're like, I don't know, is this going to help me?
Yeah.
I don't know. And they're getting left behind.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your take on like sharing these projects publicly? Like having a personal branding of sorts.
So you mean to say sharing the source code publicly, or sharing what project you did?
Like coming back to the SOC project again.
Yeah.
You built the whole end-to-end system, and assuming you went for the SOC conference and all of these things,
Yeah.
you can brand yourself around it. You can brand yourself saying that I built this thing end to end,
Yeah.
and you're sharing this project publicly.
Sure.
Versus you putting that on your resume
Yeah.
in 3 lines, the STAR method, and sending that PDF to a recruiter. There are 2 possibilities. You, I don't know, make a YouTube or make a whole how-to video and totally send it across the internet. Or you have that PDF going to the recruiter.
Yeah.
Who do you think has a better chance?
Of course, the first one, right? Because the thing is that visibility and branding yourself has got a much bigger importance as of today, because emails could be automated, messages could be automated, And so I think there is this question of legitimacy of a person online versus meeting them in person or showing your product to at a conference and meeting people there who are interested and people who can vouch for you either directly or indirectly. I think it has gained a much more momentum right now. So having said that, like any product that you build, for example, if this is like the sock project that you did, so you went to the sock conference, you met with other sock suppliers and other people, and I think say they liked the idea. So you can create a video out of it, ask for their testimonials, and just put it on LinkedIn, put it on YouTube, and capture the moments that that you had to go through to build this mini sock company. Although say it's not funded, it's a project, but any project I would turn that into like a small company, and I think that's important than just putting it on your resume. Sure, I think even on the resume, you can get the visibility, but it just takes more time. But you won't be able to emphasize the learnings or contributions for the project just in those 3 bullet points.
Exactly. And for you to stand out, there's a clear-cut, easy way to do it.
Yeah.
Right now, everyone is submitting their resume with the 3 points. Someone could be making a better project than you.
Exactly.
But there's a possibility you making that as a shippable project, which is visually good, wins. I was speaking to this in my last podcast with Aman Manazir.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, like, he used to go for hackathons.
Right.
And he told me this tip. He's like, if you go for a hackathon, make the best UI looking project, the most visually good looking project, because that is going to capture attention. And I learned that lesson the hard way because I went for a project, made the greatest thing in my life I thought I have.
Yeah.
But the UI was the simplest and the most useless versus someone glorified the UI and had a very simple idea at the back of it.
That got
he won. And that was like a lesson I didn't learn then.
Yeah.
But when Aman told me, I learned there.
Wow.
It's crazy. I also, like, there's this problem that I am facing myself these days. And I'm sure a lot of people are, even people in AI.
Yeah.
The world of AI is changing every day.
Yeah.
Right? There is, like, the OpenAI dev day just happened. A lot has happened in, I don't know, it happens in a week or a day. A lot of things are changing.
Yeah.
How do you stay current with all of this?
Right. Again, great question. So I divide my time from the full-time job that I have. One thing is like attending AI tech events. I'm local to New York, so there are so many events happening here. But having said that, I know my domain, which is pathology. So I make sure that, many a times I don't deviate from the domain. Although sometimes I do because I'm excited to know, what are the new technologies out there and can I bring that to pathology. But I tend to focus my time and energy in the cancer research space and, attend webinars, talks, and events in this space because there's so much noise out there. And if you want to, get an in-depth understanding across all the domains, that might be a challenge. But say your domain of interest is healthcare, then I would say go to the healthcare events, and in that maybe pick a domain. It could be, I don't know, medical imaging or electronic health records. And again, pick the domain first, and then you can explore what AI technologies are coming for that domain. So
because the reason you say all of that is that there is AI being made for everything now.
Exactly.
And you trying to learn everything is going to leave you nowhere. Yeah. So you pick medical imaging. Yeah. You go for a conference. There are 10 booths who are like, okay, we can do this in medical imaging. We can identify diabetes in one. We are better at this. We are better. So you see all those tools. Yeah. And they are, like you said in the beginning, they are trained on that data. Yeah. They are made on that data. They are not a generalist application. Yeah. So that is one way to stay current. But if you had to give me certain general tools also, like general places, because ChatGPT is one of those generalists. Yeah. So there are some resources, if you could tell me, that where can I go for these general queries of staying a brief with the basic world of AI?
Yeah. I think Tanmay, before answering that question, I would like to bring one point, which is like, uh, to become successful in today's time, you don't have to be an AI expert. You don't have to be like, expert in understanding the technologies and all. And I would always say like, think global, but act local. What is it that you can do, say, today? If you had like 2 hours, like, again, I'll come back to the question as to the general, like, where you can go to build up those skills. But again, if you had like 2 hours of time, like, what can you do? I would say like focus very local, and always, if you might be in any point of your career, just think about this, like, what is it that you're trying to get out of it? So if it's a project, as I mentioned about the sock company, like how could you make this as your, like, the best sock recommender system in the world? And if not, what is stopping you? So try to understand that. Is it the lack of data set, lack of annotations, or lack of technology itself? So try to understand that. But having said that, like, if you want to get more information, like specific, general information, of course there are these like open source LLMs where you can seek advice. But I would also say that read papers, like read articles, like read, like maybe I would say like survey articles about the domain. So that gives you a very quick idea as to what are the current technologies. Like, don't read in depth, but there are like a lot of survey papers for any domain that you pick. It's more like a market research, right? So somebody would have actually done that work for you, who would have like read through hundreds of articles, websites, videos, and all that, and they would have condensed that information into a good article. So that's a very quick way for you to like understand where the technology is right now for your domain. And I'm more than happy to like send some links maybe in the YouTube comments, or a description where you can do that.
You've also made a roadmap for us.
Exactly.
It's a nice flowchart that I want to leave for the audience.
Yes.
And we'll put it up on the screen as well.
Absolutely.
And as a PDF that we'll put out for
Exactly.
everyone to like. It's free knowledge that you're giving us. We
Yeah.
are so thankful for that.
No. I think that will help our viewers, like understand, like if anybody wants to like travel the landscape of the AI from an idea to product, how can they do it? So I think it will be pretty useful. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And coming back to the question where you can get general advice for AI, the resources, that also we'll put that
Absolutely.
in the application.
Absolutely.
PDF.
Yes.
So Akash, this has been quite the conversation for me. And I have this tradition on my podcast that anyone who's spoken about something over here, they have to leave an advice for the audience. So for someone who wants to get into AI, wants to get deep into AI, what is this one final piece of advice that you want to leave for them?
Sure. I think one advice that I would like to leave is AI is a solution, not a problem. So I would say like focus on the problem that you have, focus on the data that you're working on, and AI. Think of it as a solution that you are trying to solve for a particular problem, but AI might not be the solution for all the problems out there. So I would say in whatever domain you are in, I would say like try to become an expert in that domain, and very quickly you will be able to see that what kind of AI solutions will be most applicable for the problem at hand.
Thank you so much, Akash. This was really good.
Amazing. Thank you, Tanmay.
Yeah.